Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in and here with another episode of the Media Buff Guys, the podcast about anything and everything media related. It's just me and Matt today. Lane couldn't make it. Say hello, Matt.
Hi.
Now, for today's episode, we're going to be talking about crossovers, specifically TV crossovers that Matt and I like, and maybe some crossovers we would like to see in the future. But before we get into that, quick word from our affiliate, Maono. If you want to find some budget-friendly mics that sound good, like we do right now, and you want to also expand your equipment library, like we do, definitely check out Maono. They sell in over 150 countries. They tailor to almost anything you want. They also now introduced wireless lapel mics, which, let's say you want to record on the go, you can actually plug the receiver onto your phone, whether it's an iOS device or an Android device, and literally just slap those onto yourself or to a person you want to interview, and you can record like we're recording right now.
I'm pretty sure they're also a little bit more reasonably priced than what's out there competitively.
Yeah, compared to a lot of the competitors out there, you'll definitely find something that suits your budget, but won't sacrifice the quality.
Yeah, all you young folk can make your TikToks a lot more easier.
And on top of that, if you use our code MediaBuff, you get 10% off your first purchase. Again, that does stack with any items on sale. Some restrictions apply, but definitely check them out. Now,
check out the website to read all the details.
Link in the description below. Matt, why don't you go ahead and go first with the episode you want to talk about?
I would like to talk about... Sorry, there's a fly. All right, I would like to talk about Scooby-Natural, which is an episode of Supernatural, and it came out season 13. I believe it's episode 16.
Yeah.
And, it was a really cool episode.
It really was.
And they got, everyone who voices the characters for Scooby-Doo. They got them to come in, do their part. And, the reason why I like the episode so much, it's because it was a nice, lighthearted episode for the most part, because, Scooby-Doo related. And, it's kind of got, back to basics with the show of Supernatural.
Yeah, because it does get a little dark halfway through the episode.
Well, yes, but
not dark, somber.
What I mean is that with Supernatural, the first couple of seasons is just Sam and Dean on the road hunting supernatural creatures, but then as the series progress, it's they stop the end of the world from the apocalypse,
take down Azazel.
Yeah, they and it's just one big bad after another, right?
Yeah,
like Lilith or whomever it is. And it's just each season was kind of centered around that big bad, and then the boys trying to beat this big bad. And then season 13 kind of takes a step back from that.
Oh yeah.
And it's it kind of feels like you're watching season 1 again, where it's just them going out and hunting down monsters.
Yeah.
And but this particular episode, no one saw it coming. They kept it under wraps for a long time.
I heard rumors, but it was hard to find any solid evidence that they were really going to do it, especially because the guy who plays Dean is
Jensen Ackles.
Yeah, Jensen Ackles is a big fan of the TV series Scooby-Doo, and not just Jensen Ackles,
but
the
Jared,
actor, but the actor as well, and even
Jared Padalecki.
Jared Padalecki is also a fan, but
yeah, they. And both of them, this is for people who aren't Supernatural is probably my favorite TV show.
It is. It really is.
It is.
Up until season 15, though, right?
Well, no, it's just I have issues with the last episode of season 15.
Oh, okay.
To me, the episode before that should have been the final episode.
Okay.
But that'll be a discussion for another time.
Anyways, keep going.
All right.
Why don't you do a quick breakdown of that particular episode? How does
the way the
Winchesters get in?
The way the episode opens up is that Sam and Dean are in this pawn shop warehouse type of deal, fighting a giant plushy dinosaur. And like they take holy oil, pour it on it, and then light it on fire, and it like it they kill it.
Yeah.
They defeat it, right? And then the owner, he's like looking at them, and he's like, "You guys just saved my life and all this, that, and the other thing." And then he's like, "You guys can have anything you want in here." And Sam declines, and Dean is like, "Anything?" And he like points at a nice flat screen TV. But also during this time, another character walks in. His name is Jay, and Jay owns like that strip mall that they happen to be at, because this like pawn shop was at part of a strip mall where there's like a laundromat, a Chinese food place, assortment of stuff like there usually is. And so they end up going back to the bunker, which if you are not familiar with the series at all, Sam and Dean, they find out they're a part of this part of these people that are called the Men of Letters. And the Men of Letters was a secret society that they were pretty much scholars, and they knew everything about the supernatural. And they had bunkers throughout America, right? Mm-hmm. And so, the course of events that lead up to that, they end up getting this bunker because of their heritage, that, the other thing. But moving forward, Sam is doing research. Mm-hmm. As usual, because this whole case was kind of bothering him. He's like, how did this thing come alive? They didn't know if it was a cursed object or a vengeful spirit. So Sam was digging, really trying to solve the case. And then Dean is like, all right, I got something important to show you. And then he brings him to this room and he goes, it's welcome to the Dean Cave.
Yeah, and he has the big screen set up. And
with two lazy boy recliners, a bar.
Decked out.
And a jukebox with vintage vinyl.
Yeah.
He's like, or am I going to call it the Dean of Solitude? Oh, no, I'm still working on names.
Exactly.
And so, and Sam's like, where'd you find the time to do all this? Set this up. And Dean tells him, look, when it's important, you find time. Sam just looks at him like, really? Yeah. And then Dean's like, all right, let's test this baby out. And then he turns on the TV, and then there's purple sparks and a bright light, and they get sucked into the TV.
And who do they run into?
They run into Scooby and the gang.
Yeah, I like
at
this
a
reaction.
Milk Shack.
I like this reaction as soon as they meet them. It's like, holy Scooby Snacks is the Scooby gang. And they basically just help them out with their whatever mystery they're working on.
Well, it was a certain episode, but I like how Dean is he's like, it's a Scooby gang. And then he's talking about how cool they are.
Yeah.
And then he's like, except for Fred, he's a wad.
Yeah, but it's funny because that episode, it starts lighthearted.
It does. It starts really lighthearted. They introduce themselves to Scooby,
and even Cass is there, by the way.
Well, Cass shows up later.
Yeah,
and we'll get to some of the lines he has. It's just how direct Cass is. Yeah, so it makes it hilarious. When he's talking to Shaggy.
Yeah.
But they introduce themselves, and then they're like, all right, and then they tell Sam and Dean they're celebrating because I
don't know, gang.
Scooby got super rich.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to the mansion, and the catch is everyone in the mansion gets $1 million if they stay the night in the mansion. And this was an episode in Scooby-Doo.
It was, yeah.
I mean, like, there's a lot of them like that, but
yeah, they're all basically the same episode.
All real estate.
Basically, yeah, real estate moguls trying to corner the market and meddling kids get in the way of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, either way they go in there and it turns out that like they're actually real monsters.
Well, it's a real ghost.
Yeah.
And like Sam and Dean are doing the best they can to not tell the Scooby Gang of what's happening because like
they're trying to protect them.
Yeah, they're trying to protect them because like, well, the Scooby Gang, there is no supernatural.
No, there's no supernatural. There's always some guy in a mask.
Exactly. And there's always a logical explanation for all the tricks that are pulled in every episode.
Exactly.
So, but like they all go to their rooms and they're all like just chilling, talking, having conversations, and then they hear someone scream. And like they go to investigate, and then they like touch the body, and then like, what? And then Sam investigates. He's like, "Oh, this guy's dead. That's blood." And then he looks
the
at
Scooby Gang starts to freak out.
Well, no, they just kind of walk off.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, well, we got a mystery, folks."
Oh yeah, that's right. At first, they're kind of like in denial about.
They're like super in denial about it.
Yeah.
And then, like, more stuff happens, and like they still don't believe, and like Sam and like
Dean is telling Sam. No. Sam is telling Dean, like, we gotta, like, make them see that they're really in danger.
This is a threat. Yeah. And then, like, Dean's, like, still hesitant on it.
Yeah, he's trying to protect their innocence.
Yeah. But it's also funny that, like, Velma has a crush on Sam.
Oh, yeah, that's not surprising.
She's like, oh, him and his shoulders.
Just hearing the original, they're not the original voice actors anymore, but
they're the What's New Scooby-Doo.
The new Scooby-Doo
like
voice
with
actors,
Matthew Lillard.
Mm-hmm. Even though they're just like doing this bit, like hearing them say all these things, and even when they finally realize that they're in danger, and you start seeing them actually genuinely worry about their safety. And then the entire time, Dean is like trying to like, no, we'll fix this.
Mm-hmm. But so they go through, they like trying to defeat the ghost, and like, and then things start to get to a point where it's like, all right, we gotta do something about this. I mean, like, but
the gang actually starts to get depressed, which like saddens Dean about.
Yeah, but it's after Cash shows up. Like, because, like, the way Cash shows up, he goes to the bunker, and he's trying to tell Sam and Dean how he killed, like, a bunch of jinn and reasoned with the rest of them, and he thought he was somehow married to their queen.
That's so funny.
Typical Cash.
I know.
And then he looks at the TV and gets sucked in. And he tells him, hey, there's a purple light, or purple sparks. And then Sam is like, Dean, that's just like what happened with the dinosaur. And then he's like, well, shit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, prior to to them, like, finding a dead body, Dean was, like, trying to watch his mouth.
Yeah, and, he's trying not to swear. I like
that. But
that.
when they find the first dead body, everyone's like, zoinks, yankees, whatever. And Dean's just like, son of a bitch.
It was just so funny hearing him swear in the cartoon form. Although, technically, if you've watched Under the Red Hood, you've heard him swear in that one as well.
Yeah.
But
you should have seen Jensen Ackles as fucking Soldier Boy.
Yeah, but I mean the whole episode was really good. And they finally, I forget how did they finally defeat the
Okay,
entity?
so what happens is they do tell the gang that this is all real. There's a thing for supernatural, and then they go to Baby, open up the trunk, and then everyone's oohing and ahhing at the weapons they have, and then Sam's like, Velma, here's a shotgun, and Dean's like, no, Sam, that's a Scooby. Don't.
The lines in that episode were just
great.
Funny, yeah.
Like, one of my favorite ones is when they set the trap and they're trying to get the ghost's attention. And Shaggy goes, he's with Cassiel, and then he's like, oh, it'd been great if that ghost has left and we don't have to deal with this. And Cassiel's like, he's so direct. He goes, yeah, there's no chance of that. The ghost is definitely still here. But the way to defeat the ghost is that they find out, like, they trap it in a salt circle, and then they're able to, like, talk to it, because it's a big, giant, scary looking thing. But then they're like, hey, you show us who you really are. Well, like, let it and all that other stuff. We'll let you out of the salt circle. And then it turns out it's a little kid that passed away.
Oh, okay.
And then, like, they tell him, the little ghost boy tells them, hey, look, what has my father has passed away, and then, like, he gave me a pocket knife, and my soul is tethered to that pocket knife.
Oh, okay.
Because in Supernatural, if a ghost has like a lock of hair, or they're like attached to something, or they attach their spirit to something meaningful, they can't pass on. Mm-hmm. So, like, they find out, and then Dean is like, well, if you get us back to the real world, we'll take care of everything for you, okay? And then, but before they leave, like Scooby's game's brains are broken.
Yeah, because they can't fathom the reality that monsters actually exist. And Velma becomes depressed, and I think somebody even gets injured, and like they cut themselves.
No, well, when
and they can't believe they're bleeding, and they freak out.
That was Fred. He didn't get cut. He got shoved against the wall because he was trying to tackle the ghost, and then it flung him, and then he got blood. And Shaggy's arm got broken when he fell out of a window.
Yeah.
But at the end of the episode, when like Sam and Dean convinced the Scooby Gang that it was all fake.
It was all fake, yeah.
And then Castiel walks behind Shaggy and touches him to use his angelic powers to heal his arm.
Yeah. Basically, it restores their innocence.
Yes.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, they're cartoons. They're not really supposed to experience that stuff. Mm-hmm. They're never really in any actual danger, or their lives are never really...
But that's where, like, the blend of Supernatural comes in, too, where it's like, where is that, like, because, like, it's a pretty heavy show.
It is a heavy show.
I mean, it is a horror show.
Yeah, it is a horror show. But, I mean, the whole episode was really fun. It was really funny. And Dean, I know Jensen Ackles must have loved recording that episode.
Like, there's a whole, like, behind the scenes, like, the YouTube. Like, everyone had so much fun on it.
There's one particular scene that I really like, and is the one where they meet the Scooby Gang, and Shaggy and Scooby are eating, and then Dean comes in and decides to make his own sandwich, and then all you see is like,
there, look how big my mouth is.
So he makes his own sandwich, and he does the whole thing like, look how big my mouth is. And when Matt was talking about the behind the scenes, like, you see Jensen Ackles actually try to do it like that. He widens his mouth as much as he can. He's like, look how big my mouth is. It's so good. It was so good. Such a good episode.
But also, like, it really showcased, like, if people weren't familiar, that, like, of Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki being able to do voice acting.
Oh, yeah.
This showcased that, because, I mean, there is an animated Supernatural.
Yes, there is.
But it's only like it's only like 8 episodes of the...
that long.
Yeah, and it's like select episodes. Yeah. And that was like the first time you ever like really hear Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles do voice acting. But if you're not like a hardcore fan like I am, and you're just like watching like the show, it kind of like shows that, hey, like, these guys can,
they could do it.
They could do it.
They have good range. I mean, and that's one thing I liked about this episode, that it just didn't really take itself too seriously, because a lot of the times the episodes are super serious and very somber and all that, and there's a gravitas to it that
is true. I mean, most of the episodes
there's a couple of funny bits and pieces in each episode, especially the interaction between Dean and Sam, because they're brothers. Yes. And they act like brothers, and
they're also like, it's like since day one when they worked on the show together, they
had an immediate bond.
Yeah, they had an immediate bond, and it just grew over time, and they're like the best of friends now.
Oh yeah, they have their own podcast.
Oh
yeah, they do. So we'll leave that link in the description if you guys want to check them out.
But like, but like Ed's right, the show can be depressing at times.
It really can. Yeah.
And like,
having this 180.
Yeah,
Like them just like goofing off and having a lot of fun.
there's some episodes that are like that where they're just like
It's lighthearted.
where it is lighthearted, but
This
it,
one
like
was
for
like all through the entire episode.
but like for the majority of Supernatural, it's pretty dark.
Yeah, but I mean that's what the episode is. And I love it when shows, especially like serious shows, do that. They find a good comedic niche and they just go with it, and everybody has a lot of fun.
Oh, if you want the comedic niche with it, at the end of the episode, you find out that Jay, the guy that owns everything, was using the boy. He found out that the pocket knife had the boy's spirit, and he was using that spirit to scare people and to make them want to sell cheap their stores.
Oh, so in a way, it was kind of like a real estate mogul trying to get away. It was.
And then, so...
I would have gotten away with it, too.
Like, Sam and Dean confront him, and Jay is like, oh, you won't be able to prove this. So what? And then Sam's like, yeah, that's why we hacked your financial records, and it seems like you don't like to pay taxes. And then Dean is like, yeah, if it's good enough for Al Capone, it's good enough for you. And the police show up and arrest him, and as they're putting him in the back of the squad car, he goes, I've gotten away for this if it wasn't for you meddling kids. And Dean's like, he said the line.
Good episode. Such a good episode. But I mean, again, yeah, folks. I mean, check it out. It's on Netflix, right?
I recommend you watch all of Supernatural. It is a good show. But
if you want something that's like funny, but and it's not too serious, but still shows a little bit of their darker side, because it does get dark in a little around the end. That's a good starting point. I mean, if you want to go hard and just like start with the first episode. The first episode is hard as hell. But this episode and this crossover was definitely funny, and is definitely one you should watch.
My favorite.
Oh yeah,
because it blends.
Same here. I like it too.
It blends two mediums that are like both like in the same wheelhouse, but also very different at the same time.
Yeah, different spectrums. One is the comedic one is the darker one.
But also one's based in logic and like you can prove it with sound fact, whereas the other one is fantasy. It's fantasy, and it's craziness. Like there's actual monsters
exactly
that will eat your face off.
Exactly. But yeah, good episode nonetheless, and definitely one you should check out if you haven't already. But I definitely recommend it, and it was definitely worth it, and I was definitely looking forward to when it was announced. Yeah, but this is one of the times I actually went back to watch Supernatural, because I kind of gave up on it on season 8.
A lot of people do, because I mean, like between season 6 and 8, that's when like some of the the writers change and things like that. Yeah. So it does get kind of weak, but like if you can power through that, the show does pick up again.
Yeah, I've been told. Definitely one series I want to go back to again as well. But moving on. So for the episode I picked is actually an episode of Archer. If you haven't seen that show, definitely check it out.
So fucking funny.
It's so funny. It follows the spy Archer and his crazy exploit. Yeah, crazy exploits. It's like 007 meets freaking, I want to say, Family Guy a little bit.
Well, I mean, Archer is a satire of James Bond.
It is, yeah. But the episode I have in mind is one they did a crossover. It's a brief crossover, but it's still funny nonetheless, because even though it's in the opening scene, the way they captured it was really funny. And they did a crossover with the show Bob's Burgers. Now, if you didn't know, the actor who voices Archer in Archer is also the same actor who voices Bob in Bob's Burgers. Bob's Burgers is another animated series of a man named Bob who owns a burger shop, and basically it's just his day-to-day.
John H. Benjamin.
Yeah, John H. Benjamin. And
sorry to cut you off, but did you know that John H. Benjamin is also the narrator in The Boy Kills World?
No, I was not aware of that. He has a good voice. He should do a lot more voice acting. He just has one of those voices where it can be serious, because he has been serious in a couple episodes of Archers, but his comedic range is insane. And one particular line that he likes to do a lot is where he's bugging Lana, his well, I wouldn't call her love. Yeah, you can call her a love interest.
They're a love interest.
Yeah, and he's just constantly calling her name, Lana, Lana, Lana. And when she finally answers him, he goes like, "Danger zone." But in this episode, and it's actually the first episode of season 4. Archer, if you saw the previous episode, which ended season 3, Archer has gone into hiding. He had a bit of a nervous breakdown, I guess you can say. And he...
Oh, yeah, that's because Mallory was getting married or something.
Yeah, she's married a guy from Russia. I forget his name. The guy...
Oh, wait, the head of the KGB.
The head of the KGB,
who was, like, his suspected father.
Yes, we never get an answer for that, by the way.
We don't.
We never do.
We don't know who Archer's dad is.
No, although it is heavily speculated that it might be him. Either way, the episode starts with him waking up, and he's in the diner, and the funny thing is that he's wearing the apron. He even has the mustache, and Bob is famous for the mustache in the show. And one thing I really liked was the fact that they brought in the original voice actor for Linda Belcher, John Roberts, to voice her again. And she wakes him up, it's like, "Oh, Bobby, what are you doing? You need to start making burgers." And he's trying to it's like, what are you talking about? And you see the versions of his kids. As soon as you see the episode, it's Tina, Louise, and oh my god,
Tina and Louise are the only two I know.
Oh my god, Tina, Louise, and
their son,
Gene. So they don't. The voice actors don't actually voice them. You just see them standing there. And then the episode takes a messed up turn where a bunch of
hard
guys,
180.
A bunch of guys just storm in, throw a bunch of grenades, and shoot them dead. Shoot them all dead, and Archer.
Wait, didn't what happened before that? Like, a couple of guys walk in.
Yeah,
and they like start speaking Russian, and he answers them, and then he just fucking kills them.
Yeah, and Liz is like freaking out, but then the other, I guess, other henchmen come in and start shooting up.
Yeah,
and freaking Lana, I don't know how she finds it, but she finds him there, and they're having a shootout. I was like, "What are you doing here?" And she doesn't know who he is. I guess he has a mental block, and she's like, "You're Sterling Archer. You're Sterling Archer." Basically, his training kicks in. And he starts killing all these people. Oh, it was ISIS. There were agents from ISIS.
Right.
Yeah, they track him down. They try to kill him. Or not even try to kill him. Actually, they try to, kind of bring him back to remind him who he is.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure it's the Russians looking for him.
Well, I know the KGB for sure was also looking for him. But I think
it's been a while since I've seen that. Like, the opening of season 4.
Yeah, but basically they have Lana pretend that she's running from the KGB, and then then the real KGB shows up and shoots up the place. And basically the entire episode is just Lana trying to help him remember who he is and go back to his original life. But that first segment of showing him play Bob again and then drawn in the style of Bob's Burger was just the reason I like that crossover. Even though it was brief, it was really funny. Both shows are great. You can actually catch them both on Hulu and I think another streaming service. But just seeing a voice actor in the same element or different elements of different shows, but still playing technically the same person was the best thing ever. And they kind of did like an homage to History of Violence. I don't remember that. You remember that film?
I do, with Viggo Mortensen.
With Viggo, where he's this demure guy.
And he's an average Joe guy.
And it turns out he's like a former assassin.
Or... Yeah, but he worked for like the mob or some shit. Yeah, like he was a killer. He was a straight killer.
But they did an homage to that because he's Bob in this. He's not Archer in this, and he's like trying to live a normal life, flipping burgers and whatnot. And then in comes Lana, and in comes the KGB.
But the difference between this and History of Violence, Viggo Mortensen's character knew who he was the whole time. Yeah. He was just trying to cover that up and restart his life.
Yeah, but the whole thing was just funny, just seeing him playing technically playing both characters at the same time, and even having John Roberts voicing Linda Belcher in that episode was a good homage. I wish they had the kids voice them as well, but considering that they get killed, I don't know if they wanted to do that. And then the craziness ensues, and I mean, he eventually remembers who he is, and he goes back to the agency that he works for. But just seeing that little snippet and seeing that, I wish they had done more like that, or maybe even done one where you see Archer show up in Bob's Burgers as himself, maybe just pass by, not even stay there that long, maybe just makes a quick cameo and is like, I feel like I've been here before, orders a burger or gets a beer because he's over drinking. And then leaves and goes off doing whatever he normally does. And even Bob chiming in going like, that guy seemed familiar. Don't you think, Linda?
That'd been cool to see if they did that.
And that's one thing I like about crossovers. It just leaves up a lot of stuff for the imaginations, and it just makes you wonder, what if this character meets this character, or what if we see these characters mix together? And that's part of the reason we were like talking about crossovers, because there's crossovers we want to see in the future. But one in particular that we also really, really both like, me and Matt. Actually, Omar liked it as well, and is based on the film, was Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Such a great animated film, you guys. Like, I would definitely recommend you watch it. The plot is kind of dumb.
Yeah.
It's the Foot Clan trying to invade Gotham. Why?
Who knows?
I don't remember the plot that well. I just remember the fight scenes, and basically, as soon as the film starts, you see the turtles kind of like running into the Foot, and they kind of like try to fight them, but then in comes Batman. Actually, no, you see Batman fighting the Foot.
Yes, and then Shredder shows up. This is what I kind of want to talk about too. Is like the whole fight between Shredder and Batman.
There's a couple of fights. The first fight,
that first fight, Batman was pretty much in control of that fight throughout the whole time until Shredder did the Hadouken him pretty much.
A move that like hurts him really bad.
Yeah, that hurts him really bad. And then he runs into and then like the turtles are there. Then he runs into them because they're like checking out his car.
Exactly.
And he whoops their ass.
He really does. I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed in that, because I really thought that they were gonna be able to.
Aren't they mutants?
No, not just that. I really thought that their skills were almost on par with his. Granted, they are still teenagers, so maybe they were being reckless the entire time they were fighting.
True.
But the entire fight that they had between all of them, he basically disables them one by one, because I think he knows he can't take them all at once.
Well, it's also Batman. He's always strategic. Like, he knows how to fight superpowered people.
But also mutants. The way he was fighting them is also reminiscent to their fighting styles. For instance, with Raph, he was very on the defensive, because Raph is very aggressive, and basically he subdues them by just using his own strength against them. Then you have Donnie, who's a tech guy, and even though he just fights with a staff, I think he uses like one or two gadgets on him. Mm-hmm. And then Batman answers that with one of his gadgets, where he has the Batmobile shoot him with a taser gun to electrocute his behind. You don't remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
I think
he shoots him as like level 3 stun, like, because can go up to the, and he gets him that way. Mikey, he just knocks him out because he
throws Mikey into a pizza place.
Leo's the only one that kind of gives him a bit of trouble, because it's Leo, like
a little bit, like a tiny bit, but then Batman adjusts immediately and takes him down.
Yeah, well, he disarms him and takes his blades out and then takes him down. But either way, the fact that he was able to assess their combat prowess right then in the fly, and then found a countermeasure for them right there.
But like. That was cool, and it's classic Batman because it's what he does. But
exactly.
Like the other fight scene I really wanted to discuss, and kind of is that second fight scene between Batman and Shredder. Mm-hmm. Like
the climax one.
Yeah, like that fight, Shredder was in control.
Yeah, he was.
And like I think Shredder would have won and taken, and like
but then he started monologuing like an idiot.
Well, he didn't monologue. He didn't monologue. He told Batman, he's like, no more gadgets, no more tricks. We do this my way. And he's about to and like he takes his utility belt and he beats him punch for punch. And then he's about to finish Batman. And then, like, Batman says Cowabunga, and then Raph comes out of nowhere and hits Shredder with, like, the back of his shell.
Exactly.
And I think if Raph didn't interfere, Batman would have lost.
Well, he was in the, at 100%. He was still recovering from that.
That's and Shredder knew that. But that's what I'm saying about Shredder. Like,
hand to hand, he's a very formidable opponent.
Yeah, like everyone likes to gas up Batman as the one all be all martial artist, but I think Shredder can take him.
Oh yeah, I mean, considering that he was trained very almost every art of martial arts, and on top of that, he knows, like, I guess you can call them forbidden attacks, and basically knowing the anatomy of a man, he's able to, like, disable them very easily. And Batman kind of learned that the hard way, because the entire time he was on the defensive. It wasn't until Batman kind of, like, mustered up his strength that he started countering him, even breaking his Shredder's claws.
Yeah, that was at the beginning. That's a good point, because at the beginning, that was that first fight between them two. Like, Shredder was whooping his ass, and then Batman took control of the fight.
Yeah, and basically, I guess that made
I kind of
Shredder realize,
contradicted myself, because I said at the beginning of the episode that Batman is in control of the fight the first time. Sorry, folks, mistakes were made.
But that just goes to show you that Shredder realized that, I can't take this guy lightly, because when you see him fight the Turtles, he doesn't really fight them.
Like, that's true. Every time Shredder fights the Turtles, it's like, meh.
Yeah, he's defending himself, but he's not really aggressively attacking them. He'll throw them or he'll knock them down, but you don't see him throw jabs at them or even try to strike them, because I guess in a way he kind of just sees them as a nuisance. I don't think he sees them as a threat. When he realized that Batman was a threat, like, I gotta kick this guy's ass.
Yeah, like the only person I really like Shredder would actually fight is Splinter.
He never fights Splinter on common ground. He always tries to get a one-up on him. He fights dirty against Splinter. Because Splinter is probably the only one he's afraid of. Yeah. If you notice the way he fights against him in any iteration, even comics, he'll always try to use a dirty tactic, use the Turtles against him, any way he can get one over him. But when he fought Batman, he thought, like, and he even calls him, like, you're just a regular person from this world. Like, you're not a threat to me. And then Batman's like, I'm about to show you otherwise. And he basically tells him, like, okay, Shredder realizes, like, I got to take this fight serious. And in the following fight, he starts kicking his ass pretty badly.
But it's kind of like a bit of a contradictory is Leo, because at that climactic fight scene, he fights Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah. Seeing Leo...
Or is it Rage? Is it Ra's or Rage?
Rage. It doesn't matter. Seeing Leo fight Rage was actually a pretty interesting fight to see, because Rage does not hold back. He don't care who he fights. Yeah. He aims to kill.
That's very true. But 100%. That's what I mean by Leo. Like, Leo was able to hold his own against someone who's 600 years old and knows how to fight extremely proficiently. Yeah. And
granted, he was on the defensive most of the fight.
But if he can go toe to toe with him, why did he have so much trouble with Batman? You know what I mean?
Well, keep in mind, when they first encounter Batman, they write him off as well. Here's the thing about Batman, and part of the reason I think...
Unless you're from DC.
The reason he usually gets the one-up over his opponents, because they write him off. They immediately say, like, you're just a guy in a batsuit. Like, you're human. There's nothing special about you.
They're like, you're not Green Lantern.
Exactly.
You're not Superman.
Like, even villains who have faced him before, they write him off. I'm like, it's just Batman. Like, I've kicked his ass a couple of times before. And they have,
like Bane.
Exactly. So that's part of the reason he gets that one up on them. They get careless. They do their monologue. And the Turtles do the same thing. They look at him like, what is up with this guy? Ain't it early for Halloween? And they treat it as a joke. They realize this guy's serious. And that's when you see Leo starting to fight a little seriously, which is why Batman kind of had to amp it up a little bit and go a little more aggressive and to take him down. But everybody else he took down, not with ease, but like I guess you can find a little bit of amusement the way he does it, which is, I guess, part of the film, the way they wanted to structure it. Again, it's a kid's.
That's true. And it's also like the narrative of the writers of how they want it to be.
Which is funny because I mean TMNT is dark. Like if you've watched, if you read the original comics, they're dark.
I have the first issue of The Last Ronin.
Yeah.
And that is such a dark book.
So dark, man. They're so like, either way, the great film, guys. Like, check it out. As far as other crossovers we want to see in the future, is there anything you would want to see, Matt, that you would like to see a crossover with?
I mean, can I think about that real quick? A crossover I would like to see. And it can be anything.
Yeah, animated, live action. Like if you want to put something animated in live, or vice versa.
Well, we already got Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
You know, I would like to see a crossover between Hold on, give me a moment. You go first. I'm like trying to think about a good one. That's what's taking me so long. So if you got something,
well, be particular, and I know we'll never see this, but I feel like if we do see something like along these lines, it's gonna be funny as hell. One crossover I would like to see is a Gundam series crossing with a series called Godanner. I don't know if you ever saw it.
Which one's Godanner?
Godanner is an over-the-top mech fighter show where these guys and these ladies in scandalous outfits pilot these mechs.
Oh!
And it's so over the top. And part of the reason I want to see a crossover is because Godanner reminds me a lot of Gundam Seed with, you know, Burning Finger, Burning Knuckle, that stuff. So seeing something like that...
I mean G-Gundam.
G-Gundam, thank you. Sorry, yeah, you're right. So seeing something that over the top crossover, something with a little more serious like Gundam, I feel like that would be an interesting crossover because you have these guys who, when they're doing their attacks, they're screaming at the top of their lungs. You know, the main character, he likes to say his attack called Heartbreaker when he punches the enemy, or Soul Breaker when he kicks them to death. And just seeing somebody, or maybe him fighting against, what's his name, with the Burning Gundam, seeing them fight together, them shouting their attacks at each other, that would be funny as hell. Just seeing the craziness over the top, or even something serious like Gundam Wing, and seeing them like fighting enemies and yelling out their attacks. And their actually something serious like 00, because 00 is probably one of the more serious ones.
Gundam Wing is pretty serious as well.
Yeah, but just seeing something like that with that aspect of the seriousness and then the silly over the top craziness, them either fighting against each other or fighting against an enemy, I think would be funny. I definitely would want to see them fight against each other because I want to see them just yelling out their attacks and the pilot's going like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? Why is he yelling out his attacks as he's trying to hit me with it?
Okay, I just thought of a couple of good crossovers. First one would be Blade and Twilight.
Oh my god. I think everybody would see that.
I would love to see that. I think for obvious reasons.
Yeah, we've seen the memes. Yeah, that would be funny.
Yeah. Well, also, like, what was my other one? Fuck. Well,
but honestly, the Blade one, I've actually thought of that too. And as crazy as it sounds, I would want Blade to work with the Carlyles. I forget their name. I know Carlyle's like their dad.
Oh.
I don't know his last name, but I know the Carlyle's like their leader or whatever. Yeah, but I would like to see them work together.
Now, another crossover I would like to see, it just came back. It'd be Splinter Cell and Metal Gear. Oh. Sam Fisher and Solid Snake.
I mean, Sam would get his ass kicked easily, but I feel like Solid Snake and them working together would be badass.
It would.
Like, especially if you put them fighting a Metal Gear. Sam would be like mind blown.
True.
Like, this is what you fight?
That's true.
He's like, yeah, what do you fight? Terrorists.
Well, they both fight terrorists.
They're like, yeah, but not giant robots. Sam in Snake's universe would be like, what? You have a guy who who juggles his guns before he shoots you? What the hell?
That's true.
It's like, wait a minute, you banged like the lady who trained you. You banged and you gotta kill her now. What?
Yep. Such a convoluted storyline with Metal Gear.
I know, but seeing Sam in that world would be funny as hell. His reaction to everything would be funny because even though he's serious in the games, there's a little bit of a quippiness in there. Like Sam,
Sam Fisher, he does have his sarcastic
oh
remarks.
yeah, it's super funny, especially when he's talking to the handlers, like whoever's like in his ear. He's like, it's like, hang on a minute, I'm doing something real quick, or he's like the mission is not gonna go anywhere. Relax, I'll get to it when I get to it. Or when he kills everybody, it's like nobody around, nobody to know that I was here.
Or like like in Chaos Theory, one of like when you take one of the guards to interrogate them, and like when you hit the interrogate button, Sam's like, "Hey, you look a little scruffy. Like, you need a shave."
Exactly. Yeah. The quips alone would be really funny as well, and then. If you put Snake in his world, he probably wouldn't even like be fazed by it. Like he'd be like, huh,
he's like, "Oh, regular people.
Huh, this is who we had to deal with. Cool. I once had to deal with a ghost who killed me, and I had to bring myself back to life." Such a good franchise, but that would be cool.
That would be another cool one. Devil May Cry and Bayonetta.
Oh my god, I've been wanting that, and I've been told you guys that would be an awesome crossover because just them building off of each other, just like the innuendos, dude. It's like
so many innuendos.
Why don't you shove that sword nice and deep into my hole over here? Or him going like, "Lady, you're gonna be dancing all over my heart and making things really hard for me." Freaking Dante would just them feeding off of each other would be insanely funny, and that would be a fun game because. If you do it,
or
co-op,
if they make it like a show too.
No, I'm saying like if they were to do it a game, you could do a co-op. That'd be actually fun. Like somebody playing as Bayonetta, someone's playing as Dante. That'd be funny as hell.
That would.
And they'd be making fun of Virgil all the time and making fun of Nero all the time. They would make fun of Nero a lot in that one. It's like, oh, is this the little boy you were talking about? The one who doesn't have any hair on his peaches. Either way, I mean, yeah. And it's like, what is he yelling about? Either way, crossovers are always fun, folks. Like, just seeing two mediums come together, even if it's for a brief moment, like an episode or a movie, it's always fun. Like, let us know in the comments what some crossovers you would like to see, whether it's movies, TV shows, video games, heck, even books or comics. There's crossovers all the time.
There's a shit ton. Like, you got...
Comics are nothing but crossovers.
Yeah.
But let us know in the comments what some crossovers you would like to see. As always, if you're on my YouTube, remember hit the like button, subscribe, comment below. Follow us on Spotify, give us a like. You can actually leave comments on those as well. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time. Matt, say bye.
Bye, folks.
Adios, muchachos.